Welcome to the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi After the Show podcast.
So cool to find out, and we dropped it in 3 things to know today, that doing DIY projects in your home, no matter who you are, no matter what place you are in life, if you are just starting out and you're renting an apartment or you're renting a room or you own a home, it doesn't matter where you are in life, a DIY project boosts your confidence. You're more likely to take one on if your friends do it successfully too. Mm-hmm. Oh, he mounted a TV. Well,
yeah. I'm going to put one on the wall too.
I've mounted 3 TVs.
Now, Murphy, I have seen this in action with you. You walk a little taller when you have done something like that in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And recently, though, I will say this, Murphy gets so on a roll with it that he wants to do a bunch at one time. So remember that you hung a mirror in the living room for us recently by the windows, that long mirror, that full.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful and perfect. And everybody stops by and checks their clothes in it, all the time. It's just a mirror in the living room, a long one. You also hung a mirror above the little nook. I created a reading nook after our bearded dragon died.
Yes.
And we got rid of the terrarium and I cleaned it and I put a bunch of pillows there in the nook. And you hung a mirror up there. And do you remember what the issue with that one is?
Well, it was the height. It was where you wanted it to be. And it's brick walls. So you have to have, and I have the little concrete anchors, what they call them.
Yeah.
I've installed those before. And they're easy enough to do once you've done it.
Yeah.
They're just, you have to have the right equipment for that. You have to have the right drill bit. I mean, you'll ruin, some things if you just have your standard gear for that.
It's a decorative mirror, and you hung it on the anchors that were already there.
Yeah, I did. And you wanted it to be lower or higher? I'm trying to remember.
Lower, because the point
right?
is, unless you're Shaquille O'Neal, you can't see yourself in that mirror. It's so high. Mm-hmm. It's like you can't see yourself in it.
I was wondering about that. If this was just like, can you make it about 2 inches lower? No, but this is...
I hated to do it too. I waited a day. You hung it and you were so proud, and I just didn't say anything because I kept walking by it going, I think I can see the top of my hair. Oh. I do need you to bring that one down just a little bit because that's the point of having a mirror.
Oh, wait, you need it down farther now, or when I dropped it down farther, you liked it?
You moved it down?
Well, I did that whenever you said it was hanging too high. I thought.
Oh, I didn't know that you had. I didn't know that you had dropped it. Okay, I need to go home.
Unless I'm forgetting, because I know that I put a little cable on it that was a little bit longer so that it could hang straight.
Okay,
it's not hanging on its own mount; it's hanging on a wire. Whatever it is.
Okay, well, I'll have to go check it because I have not been using it.
Well, then, unless I dreamt I did that. Check it and see.
I think you would know if you did it. If you're saying you did it, then I need to go double check again.
The other mirror was tricky, and I'm glad that I did read the instructions on that because I like using wire, whatever, I don't know what you call the term. It's picture hanging wire, I guess is what it is with the anchors. But you cannot hang a long mirror that way. And that's the easiest way to do because you don't have to worry about being level. But
why can't you hang a long mirror that way?
Because eventually the stress of it will begin to bend and the mirror will crack.
Ooh.
And it doesn't happen, immediately. You can try it, but if it does, then it's over. Mm-hmm. So you have to use the mounts that are on either side that they build into the frames of these.
Sure.
And they have to be on their own hooks. Mm-hmm. Well, that's makes it trickier because you have to be completely perfectly precise with where the hooks go.
Yeah.
And so that's the one where I just flipped the mirror over, started to mark up, measured between the 2 windows. I wanted it to be the right height, it was probably one of the more complex ones I ever did.
Look.
But I measured twice and I only drilled once, and I was good.
Nice.
Remember, and you helped me hang that one.
I don't remember that. Mm-hmm. That day, I don't know what was wrong with me that day, but I'll say this. Wow. All of that is harder than it seems until you tackle it. And honestly, I was never taught any of that. Hanging curtains, hanging mirrors, hanging pictures. It's not something that I was ever taught. And so I'm so glad you're willing to do it and all your tricks.
But I had to learn that too. I don't know that was my thing until,
you had a home.
You and I were together in a home, right?
Yeah.
But the one do-it-yourself project that was once and done, I'm like, okay, great, I did it. Don't ever want to do it again. I'm fine. Is laying, ceramic tile.
Yeah, I remember.
And so I redid ceramic. I took up a vinyl floor in the house that Jodi and I first were in, and because it just didn't look great, and I was trying to get as much value as I could out of it, but I wanted to do that myself and try it. And so I learned how to do the spacers and the glue and the grout, and making sure that you seal the grout and all of those things. And then you have to measure and cut properly, because the tiles, it's not going to be a perfect square fit. So you have to figure out which wall do you want those to go up against. It was a lot. And I wound up buying a cheap wet saw for it, because that's what you have to use to cut the tile with. And so it was a really cool experience to do it. But by the time I did the second bathroom, I'm like, I don't want to see another bag of grout. I don't want to see any more glue. I don't want to do another ceramic floor, because then you start winding up with issues where if like the foundation is not as level as it should be and things, it's you have little nuances that you have to work in.
It's wonderful to do that, though, because you learn that nothing is easy as you assume that it is. It's a great lesson to learn that everything is harder than it looks.
Well, I certainly learned from that someone who is a professional and does it all the time, there's art and science to it to make it work. And it's, the amount of time I would have to invest for the mistakes that I would make is not worth somebody who actually does it for a living, and actually gets joy out of it.
Right. You're good at that? Yeah, shout out. Sam, what about you? What is a confidence-boosting thing you've done in your home?
I changed the brakes out of my car a couple times.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is.
I had a YouTube video of that one to see how to do it, because it's like, you can bring this in and get it done for who knows how much money, or you can just buy the brakes and do it. And I did. I had to buy a seat clamp to make it work, but I did it twice, and it was real easy. The thing I've done recently, and this is going to sound nerdy, I cleaned out the spark arrestor on my weed eater.
What? What is that?
Okay, I have an Echo weed eater, and you use your weed eater, and I've noticed in the past month or so, it's been like, it's just not getting something. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so do I bring it to somebody, or let me Google it? More than likely the problem is your spark arrestor needs to be clean. All right, where is that? And you just take off a housing. It's this little tiny 1x1 square mesh.
Yeah.
That, it blows out of your engine, and it's supposed to stop any sparks from igniting anything around it.
Right.
And it was just caked over and solid. It was like you couldn't see the screen because it was so covered in oil and gunk.
Right.
And you just burn all the stuff off of it, clear as a bell, put it back in. Whang!
Wow.
I mean, like 10 minutes, and I have my weed eater back.
And that's confidence building. And you needed it done anyway.
Because it's like, I know how to do that now.
Look.
And what's funny, to me, the good ones are the ones that you wish somebody was around so you could tell them.
Do you see this?
Yeah. Check out what I did.
Yeah. It's funny because
I think I tend to do that to Jodi a lot.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I love this information because, it makes sense to do DIY some things. But I love to know when something is confidence inspiring and confidence building, because everybody needs confidence, no matter what age you are, where you are in life. It is something that cannot be given to you from outside sources. Confidence is built from you doing things for yourself.
Yeah, something that's a challenge.
Right.
But then you were able to overcome that challenge. Right.
Yeah. And ironically, about this fires me up so much, I don't do DIY projects. I've got nothing to add to this conversation.
You had that, what was it, that end table you were stripping a couple years ago?
7-8 years ago, and I hated it, and I didn't finish it.
Okay.
Well, but do-it-yourself projects don't have to be like, serious mechanical construction stuff. Sometimes it's, putting an organizer in your closet, or sometimes it's,
Look, I do a lot around the house, and I'm very proud of what I bring. Everything in our home is where it is because I put it there. Mm-hmm. And the decor and all of that. I'm proud of how picked up it is, how organized it is. I'm constantly so I'm not, it's not that I'm not confident or proud, but I just don't do DIY. That doesn't turn me on to I'm going to paint this wall.
Yeah.
I don't want to paint a wall.
Yeah.
It's just
it
nothing
feels
wrong
so
with that.
good after you do it, though. You just like
good already. I'm, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there are some.
Knowing
I guess
yourself.
over the years, I used to really feel when I couldn't do something right, it was kind of a bummer, and I would let it get to me. But then I realized, okay, just like I was saying with the tile floor, okay, I did it, and I think I did a good job with it. It was very difficult to do that around, like removing the toilet. I mean, it gets really complex when you realize that what you're having to do. But then that's where you realize, okay, it's all right not to do everything. Mm-hmm. There's a reason that people do. There's a reason you can call a professional to do something.
And I'm for that.
They've got the experience. They're not going to mess it up. Time absolutely is money. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so, you just have to kind of realize, okay, this isn't my area of strength, and it's okay that this is not my area of strength.
Yeah.
Next, I'll find my next DIY project that I can do. Like hanging ceiling fans. That's not a big deal for me. I'm very comfortable working with anything electrical. I'll change out receptacles. I will change out anything like. Now, I'm not going to want to run PVC pipe and do that sort of thing. If it becomes a major project, that's better done by somebody else, again, that knows what they're doing, right? So
I think I've gotten more confidence thanks to YouTube.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you 30 years ago, 20 years ago, it's like, nah, I don't know what to bring it in. Whereas now it's like, well, I'm going to bring it in, but wait, I bet there's a video on this.
Yeah.
And you watch it and it's like, oh, I could do this.
Right.
And you do it.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's little things for me, though. I'm not a big DIY person. Little things, and it's funny, we're going to touch on that in the show tomorrow, part of Keep the Wow, little things that give you confidence, which is so beautiful. But like, I remember we had one of those big dog crates, it's a big surprise, Murphy, the wire ones, and you weren't home and I needed it taken down. I was cleaning a room. I was straightening up. I think we had people coming over and I wanted to collapse it, and I couldn't, by looking at it, figure out I couldn't collapse it just by looking at it. It's like a puzzle,
yeah.
So I just went on YouTube and watched one video. It's like, oh. And aside from my fingernail almost, breaking a whole fingernail on it, it was nice to go, okay, I did that without having to wait for you to roll in and go, hey, honey, can you do this for me? So I guess that's in a small way. But that's what's cool about this information, this study about DIY making you feel good, do-it-yourself projects. Even little things like painting a room, like mounting a TV, like painting pictures. But the more difficult the project, this is the big takeaway, the better it feels. The more you want to pound on your chest if you did the flooring, if you repaired drywall, if you did something that you consider big.
Yeah.
But just careful. Know who you are. Don't get so far in that you're out of money and time.
Yeah, and always keep track of the screws and the extra pieces.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, that's true. You know what I even do is I will put I have a Ziploc bag that I'll set aside. I won't keep it forever, but after I do a project like that, mark it, put it aside. That way, in case there's something happens.
It's a ceiling fan on the bag.
That I realize, wait, it's hanging. Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's about to fall.
Right.
Oh, that's what that screw is for.
Missed any part of the show? Get it all on the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi podcast.